Thank you.
You're on.
Welcome to the special Piqua City Commission meeting Wednesday, July 29th, 2020. We'll start by saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next, we'll have the city manager call the roll.
Mayor Lee,
Here.
Commissioner Grissom,
Here.
Commissioner Hines,
Here.
Commissioner Pearson,
Here.
Commissioner Vogt.
Here.
All right, the first and only item, of new business, the first item of business, new business, is resolution number R-95-20.
That is a resolution supporting the Davidson Flexibility for States and Localities Act and declaring an emergency.
Okay, so basically what the Davidson Flexibility for States and Locality Act is comprised of is a bill that Warren Davidson, our local representative, has placed in the Congress, in which it allows the cities to use the CARES Act money in ways in which are more flexible than the rigid initial spending handcuffs that we had on the original act. We're allowed to spend it on budget shortfalls and offset the loss of revenues, according to this bill. Our resolution is in support of that. It allows him to take this information and all the resolutions from various cities to Congress with him to say, hey, look, these people are in support of my bill. Please listen. And that's basically what the resolution entails. Are there any questions?
So just as clarification a little bit, currently, for any type of funding that we'd receive in response to the COVID, something had to be directly impacted by the COVID, or it had been expenditures for that. However, we've been impacted by the COVID-19, and this just gives us more flexibility to
Yes.
put the money where it's needed.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because originally it didn't allow for the flexibility to offset the loss of revenue and associated budget shortfalls. His bill, if passed by Congress, will allow us to adjust and use that money for those things that we deem necessary, and not just the prescribed stuff that was in the original language.
Thank you.
Sure. Any other questions? So we have to declare it an emergency, so I'll need someone to suspend the three reading. Is that correct?
Well, this is a resolution. I think
It's
emergency
just one.
just means they want to get it passed through Congress, so.
There we go. Then I'll need a motion then.
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution number R-95-20.
I'll
Second.
second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
None opposed. Motion carries. At this point, this was the one and only item on the agenda, and we next would move to public comment. It's an opportunity for citizens to address the city commission. There were no questions for the city commission, so we'll next move to the city manager's report, if he has one.
I'll just mention that there's a great possibility that Miami County will be moved to a level 3, which is a red county, pertaining to the public health system, the advanced notice system. And what that means is the criteria is there's a very high exposure and spread within the county. It limits activities as much as possible. We're already under a public masked order, but in this past week, we've had 19 new cases in Piqua. which is pretty high.
Yeah.
And that makes us with 80 cases overall, and still with, fortunately, only one death. We don't like to see any deaths, but we're fortunate it's only been one. So we are seeing a great increase in the number of cases that are showing up.
All right, thank you. Next would be, we'll start with the commissioner's comments with Commissioner Foat.
Really don't have a lot to talk about tonight, being that this is a special meeting, but as everybody knows, the poll come out and has expired for the medical marijuana dispensary ordinance change here in Piqua. Understanding that there was an overwhelming number of people that voted on that, not all of them were citizens within the city of Piqua, and I can acknowledge that we had, people from California voting on it, yays and nays alike. But I think there's much support out there. So tonight I'd like to call for a vote to see if this is something we can get pushed to the Planning Commission for the next steps of going forward with this.
Anybody opposed to calling for this for? How many are in favor? I'm in favor.
Aye.
Yeah, I don't, yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know if we really need to vote. I think we just need to send it to the
We got the message. We'll
Yeah.
send it to the Planning Commission for bringing it forward.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Commissioner Holland Pearson?
It was a thrill.
It had to
I
be.
must say. I must say.
I thanked you. I put it out there publicly. Hundreds of people
Oh, my
thanked you as
gosh.
well. It
Oh.
was great.
Wow.
So congratulations.
Thank you, thank you. The only thing I have tonight is that the streets are now being worked on and resurfaced, so if you're out and about, beware and slow down. There are lots of big trucks and people standing in the middle of streets with signs, so just slow down and pay attention. The other thing I had was that the paper box company, if you haven't been around the Covington Avenue, where Covington Avenue goes on up the hill, the paper box company has painted one end of their building, the east end. And it is indeed different, but I think it adds a lot to the building. So I did call the president and congratulate him and thanked him, and he was very receptive of doing that project. It's one that he's been thinking about doing for a long time.
Well, I
So,
contacted the artist and thanked her because I thought she did a wonderful
I
job.
do too.
And
I do too.
I was very impressed.
Yeah.
I mean, my only problem is that when I drive, I tend to daydream now when I look at that. So I got to watch that turn, or if I'm going straight. No, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, what an improvement.
It is.
Yeah.
It looks great.
Yep, that's all I have.
Thank you. Commissioner Grissom.
I don't have anything for tonight. I know. Thank you, though.
Thank you. Commissioner Hines.
I just have one thing. POW, protecting our waterways, had their annual river cleanup for the Great Miami River on Saturday the 17th, or no, they had their 17th annual cleanup, and they did it on July 18th, sorry, but it was the 17th annual year. Jeff Lang and the folks at POW, and I just want to thank them for, again, doing this.
That was a great job.
He did send me some results from it. They had 85 volunteers. They had 30 canoes, they had 3 pickup trucks, lots of cars and heavy equipment. They took out, and Jeff always would come to the commission meeting and give us an idea of kind of what they pulled out. So they pulled out 47 tires and the total weight of 5,520 pounds of trash. That's 400 pounds over last year, which was the lowest year they've had. And the river was 6 inches below normal when they did the cleanup. The unusual items they got this year were 3 bikes, the jawbone of either a horse or a cow,
Ooh.
splitting maul, grocery cart, spud bar, 5-foot section of riveted steel pipe, circa from about the 1900s. You never know what you're going to find in there. 2 sets of mattress and box springs, and I know from having to try to pull those out of the river, they're not easy to get out.
Yeah.
2 sofa cushions, a bowling ball, and a patio table. But anyway,
Bowling ball.
but thank you to all those volunteers that help keep our waterways clean, and especially Jeff and the good folks of POW, so.
Oh, I
Thank
agree.
you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, and I actually don't have anything other than that the city of Piqua schools has released its plans for going back to school. Could be subject to being changed depending on if we go
Red level.
red level or higher. So please keep yourself advised by going to the Piqua City Schools website and check with them on a daily basis just to see where we're at. And check the City of Piqua's Health Department's website, and on our main page it tells you the COVID information that's current from the state, but it's also Piqua specific. So originally, we were going to go to executive session. That has changed. Our human resources director was sick today, so we will not adjourn and go to executive session. And so at this time, I have nothing further, and I'll need a motion to adjourn.
I move that we adjourn this meeting.
Second.
Moved and seconded. We're adjourned.